It's Wombat Jones for Ramen Chokehold, joined here by the other half of the co-main event, which is going down August 17 at the Liam McGarry Room at the Adelaide Oval for DFC 6. Mate, I am here joined by Ethan Duniam. G'day, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, mate. And the first thing that I want to talk to you about is you're from this little place down there in Tassie. It's Ulverstone down near Davenport, down near the dock there, mate. What's it like living down there?
It's pretty cruisy, really. Real nice summers. There's like mountains, like 30-minute, 25-30-minute drive away, like stuff like that to go do. Beaches aren't too bad. Pretty quiet and cruisy, really.
And what's the MMA scene down there like?
It's seen better times. There's a promotion that just recently, there used to be a kickboxing promotion. It's called Legion. They've just moved into MMA bouts. They just bought a cage a couple of months ago. So I'm hoping those guys can help build the scene up a bit. They're doing some good things. So yeah, it's been a bit stagnant for a while, but yeah.
And like, do the clubs and pubs, do they put like UFC on down there, or is it just, like you said, starting to build now?
A few of them do. I think like if there's a big fight, like there's a couple in Devonport or Burnie that might put it on, but yeah, like not every card.
Yeah, right. And like, because I don't know the area and the scene down there, what are some names that I should be looking out for down there in the regional Tassie scene?
Yeah, right. Well, Ulverstone, there's a couple people who've already made a bit of a name for themselves from Ulverstone, and that would be Rhiannon Thompson. She trains with us at 360. Adam Cook as well. He was one of the champions, one of the promotions down here a while back. We've got another guy training with us. I reckon he'll have a bit of a dip soon. He's come with Adam. His name's Dean Simons. I thought it was Simmons, but I do think it's Simons. But you know,
hey, unless you're giving him a shout out, I'm sure he's going to be happy with it either way.
He'll be happy with the shout out.
Of course, mate. Yeah. Who else? Anyone else?
Yeah, there's a couple good guys from Lonnie as well. There's Darcy Lake. He trains at BJJ Tasmania, where me and my coach go to get some jiu-jitsu coaching with Brad Lowe sometimes. And Alec Haas. Alec Haas he's had a couple pro fights. He's had a bit of a break for a while, but he'll get back into it. There's a really good, I would say good young kid, but he's young, but he's like bigger than me. He's Deacon Law from HTC, and they've got another couple of actually really good guys that are on the way up. So yeah, like I'm pretty sure like the scene will pick up here, and obviously there's some old names like Priscus. I'm not even going to attempt his last name, and if I butcher it, he'll come beat the shit out of me or something. He's a savage man. Like he's big boy. I
know who you're talking about, and I'm not going to have a crack either.
Yeah,
that's all on you, brother.
And then yeah, obviously all the other HTC middleweights as well, like Rob Wilkinson, Shaw Dean, and Stu Dare. Yeah, so they're all guys that are still having a go and doing pretty well.
Yeah, 100%, man. And like you come from a kind of a weird base with Wing Chun. I mean,
yeah,
especially an Australian MMA, mixed martial artist coming from that sort of a base. How did you get started in that?
My mum just moved me into it a bit when I was about 7, I think. Moved to a new school. We've been to a couple of schools, and a couple of kids were like giving me a bit of shit or whatever. So I was like, we'll chuck him in this and see how he goes. Turned out pretty well in the end. But yeah, it's not like there was a video a couple of weeks ago where this Wing Chun guy gets the shit beat out of him by an MMA fighter. We never train like that. That's like a bit ridiculous. The guy that the coaches that were teaching me learn from is a guy called Rick Spain. He had a professional kickboxing career. I think he was like 39 fights, 38 wins or something like that. Before some things changed for him, he had to step away from professional fighting. But he took up coaching and he's done a great job of it. He was pretty quick on the jiu-jitsu thing too, so he had a bit of a head start, or at least in Tasmania, on the jiu-jitsu thing. So yeah.
Yeah, and what sort of like, don't worry about the disadvantages that it might, coming from, say, a wrestling background or something like that. What are the advantages that you take into fights with that background?
So at the core of it, it does have a really, really good set of principles and strategies, which they are really basic. Like it's like just simple things like efficiency of motion and like nearest weapon to nearest target, all this kind of stuff. it's probably not. It's definitely not just Wing Chun that do that and follows principles that are similar, but it's definitely really reinforced. The principles are like, they're pretty big on it. You follow those, and I think that's been an advantage. Helps out with the fight IQ a bit, I guess.
And mate, here's a little fun fact for you. Now, I didn't set this up. This was not designed at all. But fun fact for the day, it's actually your 8th year anniversary from the first time you actually stepped into a pro MMA cage. Did you know that? Yeah, today. It's actually today.
Jeez.
Yeah. So actually, the bloke you took on, his name was Jeremy Leafhelm.
It was.
Tell me what you remember about that night. No joke. The anniversary is today.
It was only 48 seconds, but it was a wild 48 seconds. Like not wild in a good way. It was, I can remember pretty much the whole thing. Came out and threw 2 terrible leg kicks and then shot this horrible head down double leg and forced him down to the ground. And he's gone head up in my belly. We'd never really worked on ground and pound or anything. It was like MMA was like real raw down here then. So it was like trying to do these little punches like this to get him. And anyway, ended up catching him in an omoplata, finish it off nice and quick, which is probably lucky. Lucky I didn't get stuck in there too long. We might have had a different story.
And like, are there any similarities like from your last fight to the first fight that you had? You know, are the moves still the same or? No,
not even a little bit. Like it's completely different. I actually had my first fight. This is how behind the ball we were. We were. I was walking around about 74 kilo and I took the fight at 77. I ended up weighing in at 71.4, I think, off the top of my head. But we didn't know about weight cutting. It was only like last couple of years where we started to weight cut properly since I moved to 360 really. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. We had a few guys on that cut. It was definitely different. It's definitely different. I enjoyed it. It was quite good.
Now, mate, let's move to recent times and your last 3 performances, I think, have been, you've stepped your game up to the next level. What do you sort of attribute that to? Like, have you been doing anything differently?
So the big change that really led to all the step up in performance was one of my coaches stepped away and started her own gym, and I went along with that, and it's just completely different environment. It's like much more positive. Like it sounds weird, but it's like the whole place just feels like brighter. So it's like just really conducive to learning. So mostly that, and then of course, probably because it is a much more like positive, welcoming environment. A lot of guys that used to train around at other gyms as well have started coming to train with us who'd had some breaks. So like people like Adam Cook and Dean and Sean Vella as well. He's a guy that used to kickbox at a different gym. And his coach, Nick Brundle's come out and trained with us a couple of times too. So like getting a variety now. And that's obviously not just the only people. If I start reeling off too many names, someone will get mad because I forgot them. So yeah, I've done that before. Just people come and train with us now. It's quite good. The training's definitely different. Like we don't do like hard sparring and heavy shots to the head or anything. Like you can condition that. Like concussions aren't a good thing. So we avoid that kind of stuff wherever possible. So just the change in environment really.
So it's kind of like the new way of training, you would say, as opposed to the hard ways, iron sharpens iron kind of thing.
Yeah. You hurt something, we'll go and do the same thing and hurt it 50 times and it won't hurt anymore. It's ridiculous.
Now, mate, let's get into the fight because you are taking on Greg Atzori in the co-main event down there for the inaugural DFC lightweight belt, I may add. And, mate, so it's not your first go-around with him. You actually fought him about a year and a half ago on Brace. And you didn't get the decision that night.
No.
Watching the fight, first round you get dropped with a head kick and he kind of controls you for a couple of rounds. But then round 3 is where you start coming on and you land some damage and all that sort of thing. Mate, how many times have you watched that fight, going into this one?
I've watched it a few in the past, not so much going to this one, maybe just once or twice. I'm pretty fresh on where I went wrong and what I needed to improve on. And I'm sure he's the same. Like he'd have his things that he wants to do different this time. So yeah, like I remember it pretty well just off the top of my head. Like, so I haven't had to keep watching it over and over. I'm probably not real big on watching a lot of footage of the guys I'm about to fight. I don't know, it's probably not the trend. I just get a bit of an idea and then do what I'm going to do.
So what would you say, has changed in your game inside of the cage since that fight?
I guess just simple things like I'm trying to control the center a bit more. I've worked on some wrestling stuff and getting more comfortable being on the inside. Just those kinds of things, which is where I need to be. I'm not long enough to sit on the outside. You've seen this guy, like massive. He's a big, long boy. Yeah.
He's 100, but that's why they call him the tarantula, mate.
Exactly.
He's a big guy, and he knows it too. I actually just interviewed him about half an hour ago.
Yeah.
We're talking about that. We were talking about his reach and his height advantage. But as you said in round 3, once you got inside, that's kind of where you were landing a lot. So you think that's the clue to winning this fight?
I think it's part of it. I guess that depends what he comes out with. Like he might have a plan for that. Like, it's neither an advantage nor a disadvantage having fought previously because Greg's a smart guy. He wouldn't have been fighting for this long if he wasn't and got through it. He's going to know what he needs to do better as well. So I guess it'll come down to who's come up with the best, new plan and whatever.
And I'll give you another little fun fact because here's another one that you might know. But you actually debuted pro before him. So even though when you fought him, it was only your 10th fight and it was his 20th, you actually debuted, I think it was about 3 or 4 months before him. So you've actually got the time advantage on him, my friend.
Yeah, he's definitely got the experience, though. He's been working and I was slacking off.
100%.
I'll catch up now, though.
What about outside the cage, mate? Like, have you changed anything since the last time that you fought Greg? Have you changed stuff outside the cage? Apart from, obviously, where you were trained and like you said before, but diet, weight cutting, all those sorts of things. What have you changed outside the cage?
So, yeah, I changed my diet's changed. The way I cut weight's changed. That's all pretty standard stuff. But I started new work as well. I was doing factory work. It was making me miserable. So I started a disability support work with a company in Ulverstone called Leap Occupational Therapy. That's definitely given added a more positive element to my life. I really quite enjoy doing that. It's quite nice. Other than that, I guess, I wasn't really so much then either, but I've just, I don't go out and party and stuff anymore. I stay at work really.
Yeah, right. And I mean, you're obviously focusing in now. Do you think that this fight is the cornerstone of your career, the crossroads of your career?
A little bit, yeah. Definitely, it's a big opportunity. DFC is a great show. The inaugural title would be great to have that and defend it over and over for a long period of time. And it's definitely a chance for it to step up a bit, go to another level again. I'd be lying if I said I didn't have ideas in my head of where I'd like to go after this and where I'd hope it would lead to.
Give us the scoop, baby. Come on, this is what we're here for. What are your ideas? What are your plans?
I just want one of those top 3 guys. I think a couple of them are a bit injured, and I don't mean any disrespect by that. I just want the big fights they're going to excite me. I'm excited to fight Greg. And then there's I've been offered other fights here and there that are guys that are they've had 4 or 5 fights or 6 or 7 and they're a bit hit and miss. It's I don't know, but those guys the top 3 guys they've all got something pretty special about them, and I just want to see how I go with that. It'd be quite cool.
Well, mate, give him a shout out because I actually spoke to Greg about this as well. Because you look at topology, and if you have a look at the rankings, it's you can't make heads or tails of it. It makes no sense to me. And I said to him, Ramen Chokehold one day we'll have all the Australian and the New Zealand rankings on their website. But we'll work on that a little bit later. But who do you think are the top 3 guys?
I don't think you can disagree and argue about who the top three are. The top three have got to be Isaac, Callan, and Kieran. They're just top three guys. I don't think that's negotiable. From there to tens gets a bit negotiable. It's a bit to however Tapology's rankings go. Like they are a bit funny, but I don't think you can argue about those three. They're the top ones at the moment.
Mate, that's fantastic to hear. Now, this is your third rematch. This is actually your third time that you're rematching someone. You won the other two.
Yeah.
You won the other two rematches. Do you say, like, you're sort of learning a lot more from your losses than your wins? Is that what it is?
Definitely. I definitely am. But I'd like to start learning just as much from my wins so I don't have to have these losses. I don't want to be dropping them every 2 or 3. So, I definitely have done. Hopefully I've learned enough now that I can keep just learning from wins.
Now, you've also fought – you're actually one of the few that have fought a couple of times for Diamondback. This will be your third time around for these guys. And I've been hearing some massive things from Adelaide, from down there, for all the fighters that have ever fought for them on the card. I had a chat with Craig. I'm not sure if you've seen that or not, but I'm loving everything that I'm hearing going down there. And I'll be there on weigh-in day and fight day. So
cool.
I'm so looking forward to that. But what's it like for you? You fought for a lot of different promotions. What's Diamondback?
Look, they would have to be my favourite promotion to fight for that I've fought for so far. They just run really smoothly, and it is just the small things. Like we touch down, and aside from getting myself food and cutting the weight, and like that's all I've got to do. Like they vary us in between places. There's cool little sponsor packs, little meal vouchers and stuff like that. Like, and I know, some people might not think that it matters, but like when you're hungry and thirsty, like every little thing matters. But it's like you feel valued and appreciated, and that always counts for something. So I'm looking forward to coming back to Adelaide. I kind of feel like it's nearly feel like it's coming back to a second home. Like I quite like it there. It's a nice place. It feels a little bit like a really, really, really big Tasmania. Like it's all kind of chilled still. It's a nice place to go to. And hopefully, regardless what happens, I can keep turning up on DFC cards anyway.
Awesome, man. And do you think like you may even have like a little bit of the crowd advantage? Because it's a pretty big room there, isn't it? I mean, we're talking about nearly 1,500 people.
Yeah, there is a few going there. Hopefully, maybe I won a few fans over while I was over there. I don't know though, because I was fighting one of their locals, so hopefully they're not too mad at me for that. But I've got I think about 27, 28 people turning up for it. So there'll be a few people from my end there for sure.
Awesome, man. Now, I've only got a couple more for you before I let you go. Thanks so much for spending some time, man. I want a couple of predictions from you. The first prediction that I want is how's your fight going to go down?
Well, I haven't done predictions a lot because I don't want to end up looking silly. Look, we're both really got good cardio, so I just think it's going to be like high paced, a lot of action, and it'll just come down to who starts eating bigger shots soon or who ties out soon. I think soonest. I think it'll be pretty close.
Mate, the other prediction that I got to get was the big super fight that's been announced, a couple of minutes ago. Conor versus Khabib. I mean, it's your weight class. You're the professional. I want your opinion. I don't care who you want to win.
Yeah.
I only care about who you think's going to get the W. So, ball's on the line now, my man.
All right. Look, I think Khabib's striking's been a bit exposed lately. Like, it's pretty terrible. He's, like, stepping, like, running and whatever. So, like, I could definitely see him getting caught. But if he does manage to land a takedown, like it goes either way. It just comes down to, do you catch him or do you not? I actually like Tony Ferguson for both of those fights, to be honest. I think he puts up a better fight with both of those guys. I
actually totally agree. I 100% agree. I'm spewing that he did that, whatever, he tripped over a cable or something.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
That fight was absolute fire, baby. I like that fight. I actually like the two Tony fights better than what I do the Khabib Conor fight. So
yeah, same.
Yeah, 100%. I
won't be walking cables at all for the next week. Staying away from them.
Well, how's about just not wear fucking sunglasses inside?
Yeah, well, come on.
But anyway, mate, lastly, and what I always let everyone do finally is one player game in the cage, outside of the cage. You can't do it by yourself. You can't train by yourself. You can't, so who do you want to look, give a big shout out to?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people that like help me out along the way. So I'll start with obviously my gyms and my coaches, Tracy Aldridge and Brent Duggan. Always got to say Brent Duggan. It's just ridiculous. Sounds terrible. It's not his name. And my training partners there. I'm sorry, I'm not going to list all of these because I always miss a couple and feel terrible later. As well, my sponsors. So I've got Valentino's from Devonport, an Italian restaurant. They do great food. AME Tilting Quick Hitches.
Great. You mean great food that you can't eat right at the moment?
Yeah, I can't eat any of it. I can't even walk in the store or I'll end up missing weight.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, all good. Maybe they got some lettuce sitting around or something. And Devil Safety, which is formerly Take to Embroidery. They do safety workwear and like printing and all that kind of stuff. So they're actually helping me out with my supporter shirts this time around, which is cool. Yeah, too easy. And then from there, it just gets into people like from Coastal Physiotherapy. So I see a physio pretty regularly. So I see Simon and Damien out there. They're great. They do great work. I'm really happy with them. Another coach as well, Brad Lowe from BJJ Tasmania. So we get down there as often as we can. It's always good to work out with a black belt. Good roles. He's getting on in his years, but he puts up a fight. He's tough work.
I'm sure the next time you roll with him, you'll be tough work.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. And everyone who's just come out and done a couple of rounds as well, like it all helps. Like you were saying before, Tas is a small state, so the more everyone pulls together to help each other out, like the more successful the state's going to become as a whole. Obviously, I'd like to thank my family and everyone who just helps support as well. Like it just makes it so much easier with all those guys chipping in, doing a little bit.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. It's Ethan Duniam. He's the co-main event. He's taken on Greg Atzori next Friday night, the 17th of August, down at the Adelaide Oval. If you're in Adelaide, you better hurry up because the tickets, I believe, there's only about 90 general admission and about the same in the wing. So there's only about 180 tickets left in the whole 1,500 stadium. So get your asses down to Diamond FC on their website or on their Facebook. And, mate, I'll be seeing you down there weigh-in day, and I can't wait. I'm so pumped.
I can't wait for weigh-in day to be over.
You and me both. You won't be so grumpy then.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, brother. Thanks so much for spending some time.
All right, no worries. Thank you.